I didn't want a big bio or anything like that. Most of you guys already know me. For those of you that don't know me, that's me. That photo was taken by our resident photographer, Bob Gloin, there just before an auction, and I swear I actually wasn't posing for that photo, so, and it is my most liked photo on Instagram, so that's why I always have it up. Yeah, you like that one. All right, so what I wanted to talk to you guys today about is, everyone knows that I sell real estate. That's nothing new. What I wanted to kind of touch on today was something a little bit different. A couple of weeks ago, Tyson got up and he talked about his business. He talked about how he's grown his business, and I found that really valuable. So I started thinking, well, what can I offer the group? What can I teach? What can I impart that might be of some value moving forward? So had a bit of a think about it, and I've had a lot of one-to-ones with people in the room. And the biggest thing for us in real estate is sales. And while there's a bit of a taboo around sales, and a lot of people don't think they're in sales, the simple fact is, to every single person in this room, you are in sales. Whether you're selling a service, whether you're selling a product, or whether you're selling yourself, every single time that you're in front of a client, you're in sales and you're on show. So some of the things that I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, because as a real estate agent, we do all three of those. But when I sit in front of a client, I first have to sell myself, then I have to sell my service, and then they give me the product to then sell later. So that's something that I wanted to touch on, and these are the two things that have probably, I don't know what that thing in the back is there, but these are the two things that have revolutionized my business in the last 18 months. So I was with Toop and Toop before that. When I went over to Ray White, I started with zero database, went straight from nothing, as if I didn't have any database, I didn't have any clients or anything like that, other than word of mouth. I started 18 months ago to about 2 years. By implementing these two things into my business and actually making a conscious decision on this, I've tripled my business in 18 months from where I was. So these are the two things. So the first thing is a CRM. Now, does anyone know what a CRM system stands for?
Customer Relationship Management.
That's right, Client or Customer Relationship Management System. That's I don't know what's going on with the M there, sorry guys. A client relationship management system is by far, in a way, one of the most important things that I've kind of learnt about and developed. It is a great way for, firstly, keeping in contact with new clients, which is important, because if you're not always trying to get new clients and trying to build, well, you're not really going anywhere. The second thing is it's a great way of keeping in contact with clients you already have. If you've already got clients, if you're already doing stuff with people, if they've already had your service, why wouldn't you be staying in touch? Now that could be setting reminders, it could be anniversary dates. If you've got a service, Simon, for instance, if you know that cleaning rugs or cleaning carpet should be done yearly, you should be getting in contact with them 4 times a year. There should be a touch base all the time. There should be, whether it's newsletters, whether it's something that they can find value, or something that, some way that you can stay front of mind, because at the end of the day, it's all competitive in everything that we do. So a CRM system is really, really important, and it's something that I use for everything. Most of my clients will get 10 touch points per year, depending on their circumstances, depending on what they're doing. And that could be anything. I always do reminders with my CRM systems because I know that it's really, really important, because if I'm not front of mind, if they're not thinking about real estate at that point in time, they're going to forget about me. And that's okay. I'm not front of mind. One thing we know is that for a client to like, know and trust you, you need to touch base with them 11 to 21 times. 11 to 21 times. Does everyone really think about that? That's a lot of times to touch base with someone before you even ask for the service. You have to actually be able to give them something before they come back, right? So whether that's, it doesn't matter what that is either. It could be Facebook, it could be phone calls, it could be emails, it could be letters, it could be whatever it is. It could be just seeing them out and about. But if they're going to use your service, they have to know, like, and trust you. It's one of the fundamentals of sales. The other thing that I think is really, really important, which has changed for me, is being conscious of objection handling. So every time you sit in front of a client, they are going to have some sort of objection to your service or your product, whatever it is. No one really just comes into it straight away. Most of the time, you need to have some sort of training on objection handling, learn some basic scripts and dialogue so you can handle that, and then acknowledge the objection. Sorry, Mark, I'm in the way.
No,
Oh, you want me in? All right, right.
Right.
So people get freaked out by scripts and dialogues all the time. Scripts and dialogues isn't about being a robot. It's not about just saying the same thing over and over. It's about having tools in your toolbox so that when someone asks you a question that you don't really know how to answer right then and there, you've got something to fall back on. It's always the same. If you've got good scripts and dialogues and you know a few little things in regards to your business, you'll go far. The other thing you need to know is you need to acknowledge the objection. So if someone comes to you with an objection, if someone says, I'm worried about this, that's great because that means you can acknowledge it. Now this is the thing that I love doing when I get an objection. Feel, felt, found, right? I'm going to give you an example of feel, felt, found. In real estate all the time, and a colleague here might know this one, you could be sitting in front of a client and they'll say to me, Joe, I like what you're about, but you're too expensive. That's an objection. I'm too expensive. You're more than the other guy that came through. So what can you do? Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, I completely understand how you feel. Others have felt the same way also. But what we have found is that by implementing these strategies and doing this, this and this, we're more likely to be able to get you a better outcome. Now what is that? You've acknowledged their feelings because their feelings are important. Understand that. It may not be important to you. You've probably heard that objection 100 times. But it is important. You need to know that. Others have felt the same way. They're not crazy. You're not crazy for having that feeling. But what we have found is that if we do this, this and this, we can achieve this. If you guys implement this, that'll change the game. You'll get way more conversion rates. You'll understand where your client's coming from. And the best part about it is they'll want to use you. But until you understand that they have a feeling, other people have felt the same way, and that we have found a way to overcome that objection, you'll lose business until you can implement this. What this should do, theoretically, is it should convert, your conversions implementing those two things should change from 70%, or should get to about 70 to 85%. Now, why is that important? Because it means that, if you go in for 4 client meetings, you should be able to get 3 out of 4. If you guys are over 85%, you're too cheap. It's as simple as that. Every time you look at someone who's got a 90% clearance rate, unless they're an absolute gun in sales, and Chris might know a little bit about this, you're just too cheap. You need to re-look at your business and what you're about. But if you implement 2 things into your business in regards to sales, which is client relationship management or customer relationship management, and you handle the objections when they come up, it should change your business. And it should give you about 20% ROI overall. That's all I wanted to talk to you guys about today. I mean, you all know I'm in real estate. I don't think that changes from day to day, but if you guys have any questions, I know Chris is in sales, he'll talk to you about it, but if you want to chat to me or anything like that, feel free to do so. I'm pretty quick right now, so if you've got any questions later on, feel free to hit me up. The one thing I'll say in real estate right now is before you meet a real estate agent, I know we can be pesky on the phones and letters in your letterbox and all that kind of stuff. Think about all the work they've put in before you've even thought about them. We've touched base with you hundreds of times, you just don't even realise it, but we're not front of mind. So you need to make sure that you've got a good CRM system, and then when the time comes, you can actually handle the objections. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks very much.